How you doing, everybody?
Hey, Doug. Hey, Matt.
Hello, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Everybody hear me fine?
Yes.
We're good, I think.
This meeting of June 3rd, 2020 is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law and was concluded in a list of meetings notice transmitted to the Two River Times and the Asbury Park Press and posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and the borough website on June 1st, 2020. The meeting notice has remained continuously posted as the required notices under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. Official action may be taken at this meeting. Proper notice having been given, the municipal clerk is directed to include the statement in the minutes of the meeting. Please be advised that due to the current state of emergency and public health emergency declared by Governor Phil Murphy pursuant to executive order and in an effort to prevent further spread of COVID-19, the general public will be excluded from Borough Council meetings until further notice. The public will be able to participate in all Borough Council meetings by video conference. A link for the live stream will be posted on the Borough website. Members of the public will be able to give public comment during relevant portions of this meeting. I'll now call the roll. Councilmember Braswell.
Here.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Here.
Councilmember Valkos.
Here.
Council President Ryan.
Here.
Mayor Brion.
Here.
All are present. A quorum is formed. The first on the workshop agenda, we have Bay Avenue and restaurant seating. Bay Avenue and restaurant seating concessions. I'm going to mute myself now.
Kim just said she's in. Okay.
Everybody's muted to start, so you'll have to unmute your own audio.
As many people know, the governor gave his direction yesterday, and then further guidance came today that we're going to be opening up outdoor seating. So we're exploring helping out the businesses to get some outside space, the potential of closing some streets in order for them to expand their outside seating footprint.
If I can jump in, Mayor.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. I spoke to Freeholder Arnone tonight. I just speak to him, as you know, last week. And the county is going to allow the use of Bay Avenue to close it down as we see fit. He told me that there's going to be a conference call. He's going to schedule a conference call on Friday for the administrators and mayors to explain, exactly what they can and cannot do. And also there's a possibility that some of the cost will be able to be covered with the COVID grant, depending on what it is. And he'll cover that on Friday. So Kim had asked me to possibly come up with a map, and I guess we could talk about this part now. Rather than try and draw a map and not being able to get it out, if I could have access, Matt, to share the screen, I'd like to use the HBP's virtual map because I think it's a great tool and it'll show the areas that we need to talk about.
Go right ahead, Cliff.
Thank you. Can everybody see the map?
No.
We still see you. And
You
you're
still see me?
face.
All right, I'm going to share screen. Let's see if this works. Does it work now? Does everybody see the screen now?
There we go.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, thank you. So some of the areas, and I think this is a great tool. If we, and I wish, okay, there's my mouse. So we can see where all the restaurants are located. I know some of the conversation is possibly taking this area up here where we had the craft festival and maybe closing that off on the weekends for the restaurants up here. Some of the restaurants going with the parking lot down at the end here, if we get that paved, that'll take care of some of that. I know Kim and I had a discussion about possibly using scooter dudes maybe to move the food around. And I'm just going to throw this out there, and this is completely from my perspective. My perspective is I think we should actually reach out to the restaurants and see what the restaurants want to do and how to handle it, only because I think we can come up with the greatest of plans. But I think a lot of the restaurants owners might want to be able to, service their own food rather than have somebody else do it. I mean, I don't know what those details are. I don't know what their hours are going to be. I think before we actually, and this is just my perspective, I think before we delve into a grand master plan, we should probably get their input and see what they think works best for them, because I don't think it's going to be cookie cutter. If we do something down in this area over here, it's going to be distance from here. I think each one can figure out, they've probably already figured out what they'd like to do anyway, but I think we should reach out to them.
I think, Cliff, what I mean is that the businesses would be able to contract with scooter dudes themselves.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And also Doug has some information as well, because we mapped out different areas. And that's up to council, what you see as the best fit. 171 Bay was an area that we already have an ordinance existing. So it's already set on the books. That's one area. The other would be Veterans Park area and the road there. The other would be Huddy, Waterwitch, and Bay over in that area. And a couple of businesses actually reached out to me about the Huddy and Waterwitch Bay area that would almost like how the craft fair setup is. But I think that's going to be up to mayor and council, and then I'm already in conversation with the police chief about different road closure and such. One thing that is good that Doug and I spoke about was the fact that Freeholder Unknown is backing this, and he is the freeholder that deals with the engineering and roads. So that is something that's good, and it will speed the process.
So Cliff, I mean, have you thought about, and Kim, setting up a Zoom meeting with all the restaurants, and we need to get their input, what their ideas are, what their feelings are, how they think they're going to move things around, because I do agree with you, Cliff. We're not in that business, right? That's not what we do for a living. So they need to be very involved in this, and only they will know how this will affect their businesses.
I agree. I can definitely set up something. I'll send out a doodle. I'll contact the restaurants tomorrow, see what works best for them. And
definitely would like to be included in that meeting.
Absolutely.
Cliff. Thank
Absolutely. And I mean, when I send out the Zoom invite, I mean, I'll invite anybody that wants to attend. Obviously, we can't have a quorum, but I think as much
they
input.
can attend as a member of the public. Okay. There's no, am I wrong? Can somebody let me know that?
Okay. So Linda, I will go ahead and I will set up a Zoom. I'm going to try and get it done. I know the freeholder, as I said, is going to have a conference call on Friday. I'd probably set it up late on Friday if possible, going into the weekend. Again, I don't know what their hours are going to be, but I think if we have some answers from freeholder or known and know what we can and can't do, I think that would benefit us in that conversation.
Doug, would you like to take over and go over the different areas with the square footage? I know Huddy you're not going to have. The council already has an idea of what would fit there, but go over the Veterans Park area and then the 171 Bay Avenue area. I think it's going to really be what you guys see happening in your eyes as well, right, as mayor and council? Like, what is your vision?
Well, as you said, a lot of this depends on the individual business owners. Every single restaurant in our borough has a completely different setup. Some people have outdoor seating, some people don't have outdoor seating, some people have a lot of outdoor that they could use as seating. I think our biggest concern for keeping some places afloat are some of these BYOBs that have no outside seating at all. They really have a hard time because we can't even offer, sorry, that's my very mouthy cat. They offer, we can't even offer the sidewalks because our sidewalks are so very narrow that we can't fit a table and still maintain the 5-foot ADA compliance that is necessary as per state regulations.
Mayor, what I was thinking was that we come up with more or less a footprint, and it's almost like we concession out to the businesses. If it's a 10 by 10, a 20 by 10, whatever tent it is that we offer to each business, and if they're interested in it, they take us up on it. I think we work with the property that we have. So we know if it's 171 Bay, we let engineering come up with, okay, this is how you can seat everyone. This is how they would fit. This is how fire safety would agree with how it would operate. And then we offer it up to the businesses who would be interested in it. Like you said, I agree. I don't think everyone's going to want to do it, number one. I don't know if it's going to be their fit, but it's an option that we could give to everyone at this time and then explore further things. Because we also have the scuba lot as well.
Right. And just in conversations that I've had with people who are, ahead of when the governor actually gave his order, I encourage people to get some contactless payments going. Venmo is not charging fees at the moment, so that would be a huge boost to any business. I also talked to some people about, say you're a property owner that doesn't use your lot at certain hours, maybe you can make a deal with an adjacent restaurant or other retail operation that wants to do outside retail, and to encourage those types of relationships so people can foster them and then they're on private property. And then people could do, a $1 lease or a hold harmless agreement and then be covered for people being on other people's property.
A member of the public just sent a message and asked if anybody has considered a parklet. Now I've read up on that based on some of the information that you had sent, Carolyn, and I've actually sat in an area like that when I was in Canada. I think the concern would be that Bay Avenue is narrow, so that we would definitely have to close down the portion of Bay Avenue. It's not like a very wide street where we can then come into the street and set up that parklet area. So basically what it looks like is a little seating area that's right in front of that particular restaurant, but instead of it being on the sidewalk, it's actually in the street where cars could potentially be parked. Does that make
Right,
sense?
so we can take away those parking spots,
Yes.
and with that it would be a couple of tables.
Yes.
But something like that, again, because our streets are so narrow, as well as our sidewalks, 2 tables is really not going to help somebody pay the rent or make ends meet. So the idea of closing sections of Bay Avenue would most likely make a little bit more sense if these people wanted it. I think right now, the feedback that people are giving me is that they're exploring these private situations, and then maybe as the season goes on and as we open up, the public answer might be the way to go, or maybe we're in uncharted territory. I hate using the phrase. I know it's so overused, but
Well,
really
has anybody spoken to
at a
Scooter
time.
Dudes? Has anybody spoken to Scooter Dudes? Or is there a way that we can even maybe get
I
something
met
like
with
a
him,
trolley and
I did.
have parking in a different area of town that we can have a continuous
I have been in
loop?
touch with Scooter Dude's owner, and he is willing to work on some different ideas in town, whether it's the town contracts him or the businesses privately contract him. But I think that we as a borough, in my different municipal chats that we have going on, we need to just come up with something of our own, give the option of in or out. Do we want to contract somebody? Do we not? At this time, under the state of emergency, I can award an emergency contract to certain vendors for COVID-related items. So that's up to you guys to move on. I would rather you guys move on it and agree with what we're going to do, because things are going to change as well. I believe that whatever it is that we're going to plan could be changed in weeks to come anyhow, with the changing events. So I think whatever it is that we need to come up with something to offer to show the businesses and the residents that we want our town to continue to function. But if they don't want to, join in or take part, that's fine as well.
Tim,
Well, I think if we, sorry, Cody.
how long would it take to get 171
That's
ready?
so Doug and I spoke. I think I'll let Doug speak more about that.
Sure. So for 171, if you recall, we did two concepts: head-on parking, angled parking. I believe we're leaning towards the head-on parking, having everything nice and squared up, flanked by curbing. There's supposed to be some conduit in there for future lighting or security, and a small manipulation to the access off of Bay Ave. There's a single driveway access at this point, and we would we're actually proposing 2 points of access to Bay with the ultimate municipal parking lot build out. If you were to wipe the slate clear and eliminate the striping for the stalls and leave the sidewalk as it is, it would function pretty well as an outdoor dining space potentially. So we looked at an initial phase where you would actually do the improvements for the pavement and the perimeter curbing. You could put the conduit in as well, but not necessarily do the timely improvements, the streetscaping, the trees along Bay Ave, the crossing of the Bay Ave right of way, and doing the curbing out into the county road as well. If you eliminated that in the initial phase, you have a pretty straightforward asphalt mat flanked by curbing along the perimeter. So if there's a way to engage with the contractor very quickly and almost do a design build, I could hand over our proposed plan, the grading, and actually implement that. We're ready to go. So the survey is done at this point. I have the concept plan transferred onto the actual survey, showing that it works within our physical lot lines. If that's the way that the mayor and council would like to proceed, we'd be able to start engaging with contractors right away.
I have a question in reference to the bidding process, Kim. Right. How is that going to affect this whole situation? You're muted. Kim, you are muted.
I got you. Sorry. Everybody's loving it. Are you kidding? They don't want to hear me. So correct. So there is a procurement issue, right? But the council was gracious enough and to understand the situation, and there is something that we did declare, or a state of emergency, which allows me to declare each emergency purchase as needed. So that being said, I would declare, due to the pandemic, and we need to, move forward for the health and safety of the borough, because we need businesses to thrive, and we want to continue to see that they have revenue continue, so it's not a detriment to their business. We can award under the state of emergency.
I think one of the points I was trying to make is if we could adjust the parking, that it's in a different area than Bay Avenue, we would have more seating. So that was my thought behind having a trolley or something else contracted out, or scooters or whomever, that we can move the parking to either uptown, make the whole Bay Avenue walkable, and able to accommodate seating, or however much we need to use of Bay Avenue, and have it available for the restaurants.
Well, remember, we do have the scuba lot and the Snug Harbor lot. Right. And if we did do something like Scooter Dudes, it could go back and forth, trolleying people back and forth.
And I think we need to just do it. So I think we have a responsibility as a borough to do this, and the businesses can tell us after we start this project whether or not they want to be involved, because I'm sure they're going to want to be. This is a great solution for many of them.
Yeah.
I think, Cody, it was a good idea, first off, but I also think that this might be a way to turn this pandemic into a positive and maybe reinvent our downtown.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it would open up avenues for many things, for the Arts Council, for being able to have a little music sometimes, playing in the different parks, you know, and have a nice little burst of energy to the town.
Yeah, I agree.
So we just have to say, okay.
That sounds great. That you may very well be right, and we may find that we can do different things that we never thought that we could, or that we didn't even think of because we're being forced into coming up with different ideas, and we're now open to different ideas that perhaps we wouldn't have been before.
So is the idea to have Bay Avenue closed 24/7 during this period?
Can I put my 2 cents in? My idea would be, I think it would benefit the borough to do it Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That way residents aren't too overcome with the shutdown as well. If there are certain areas of Bay that we're going to close along with 171. And if there are certain deliveries that have to happen and such, they could happen during the week. I know that, has anyone went to the South Street Seaport after Sandy? And they did that with like Pearl Street area, Water Street. It's actually a wonderful setup. It really, and it was supposed to be something temporary. Right, and it was supposed to be something temporary, and it worked. It actually worked. It brought people in. It's something different. It's exciting. There's live entertainment now that happens in the street. So it's almost like a fiesta type of deal that's going on, that it brings, you know, some good gatherings. I think Friday, Saturday, Sunday would work. I don't know what everyone else thinks, but I would see that would be the high traffic time and period where the businesses would need additional seating.
And would it be feasible to close down Bay Ave on the weekdays between, like, say 5 and 8? Not total shutdown, but
So what would happen if you do a street closure is you have to remember there's hard barricades that have to go out.
yeah.
So you're talking with the employees, what time that would have to be done is probably 1 o'clock in the afternoon if there were any issues. So you're talking probably a full shutdown.
Okay.
Probably.
I would be cautious
It's
of doing a
workable.
full shutdown. You really need to have the arteries that go across to have those open for public safety. What if there's an ambulance? What if there's a fire, a police situation? So like the street, in my opinion, just say from, I don't know, from like Miller to Valley, that's one contiguous strip. But Miller Street would be open and Valley Street would be open just so that EMS could service people and people can get out if they need to be.
Well, I think there's something else that we have to remember is that our downtown area is not like every typical downtown area, in that we have homes. We have residential, single-family residential homes right on Bay Avenue, and we have to be mindful that we can't completely restrict our residents from trying to get in and out and to the you know, parking in their garages, or, you know, gaining regular access with their cars to their homes if these streets are closed. So
Yeah.
we're a little bit of
Linda, I completely agree with you, and that's why when people were asking me, and people still ask me, what should we do, and are you going to close down the street and this and that, that's why I was really telling people, try to get a private situation going first, because that's the easiest thing to do, because a private agreement between two private entities is always going to be easier than when you get the government involved. We can help out as much as we possibly can to make it better for everyone. But these private arrangements, we should really foster that. I also just want to say we only have 5 minutes before we have to go into exec. So I think we could always continue talking about these items back in other business if we want to continue the discussion, which I think we probably should. But if you wanted to touch on either one of the other two items before we have to adjourn here.
Okay, so Mayor, I just want to be clear. I have reached out to Scooter Dudes. I'm waiting to hear back. Okay.
Okay.
I also, like I said, the senator and freeholder asked that the letter comes from my desk for the request to the administrator for the county for the request. So I can go ahead and make that request just to have it ready, just to say, hey, this is what the borough is thinking of doing. We will be in touch with you, and so on. It's just a simple request letter. So I can go ahead and prepare that for just in case there's certain areas we do want to shut down. And then I would just suggest that we don't come up with any areas of Bay Avenue without me discussing it with the chief of police and the fire chief and first aid. That seems to be it for me, I think. But I think that it's definitely something that we want to keep working on. And do we want Doug to look into start moving on the paving of 171 to get ready to prepare to utilize it?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, even if we don't use it for outside seating, we're going to need it for parking.
Parking. Yeah.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
And that would be for an initial phase to take care of pedestrian flow, correct?
Correct. Yeah. I think so, at least.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I believe it's too late to get started on anything else. So why don't we move those couple of items over into other business at the end? I'd like to just make that selection because I don't think we can discuss anything with any full thought in 3 minutes. And we've got a lot to discuss in exec. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to close and go into exec.
Do I have a
I'll
second?
second. I'll second.
Rocco, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All are in favor. We're adjourned to exec at 6:57 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to pause. This meeting will remain open for the members of the public. We will resume upon the conclusion of executive session. Thank you. This meeting of June 3rd, 2020 is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law and was included in the list of meetings notice transmitted to the Two River Times and the Asbury Park Press and posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and the borough website on June 1st, 2020. The meeting notices remain continuously posted as the required notices under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. Official action may be taken at this meeting. Proper notice having been given, the municipal clerk is directed to include the statement in the minutes of the meeting. Please be advised that due to the current state of emergency and public health emergency declared by Governor Phil Murphy pursuant to executive order in an effort to prevent further spread of COVID-19, the general public will be excluded from Borough Council meetings until further notice. The public will be able to participate in all Borough Council meetings by video conference. A link for the live stream will be posted on the Borough website. Members of the public will be able to speak during this meeting during relevant portions. Excuse me. And I'll ask everybody to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for
for
which it stands, one nation,
under
under
God,
God, indivisible.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now call the roll. Councilmember Braswell.
Here.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Here.
Councilmember Valkos.
Here.
Council President Ryan.
Here.
Mayor Brion.
Here.
Quorum is formed. All are present. First on the agenda, we have O-2014. This is an ordinance authorizing the Borough of Highlands to provide legal counsel and indemnification for officials, employees, and appointees in certain actions brought against said officials, employees, and appointees. This is to set the public hearing date for June 17th.
I'll make the
I will
motion.
make that motion.
I have a motion by,
second.
I have a motion by Mayor Brion and a second by Council President Ryan. I'll now call the roll. Councilmember Braswell.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Yes.
Council President Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Valkos.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
So ordered. The hearing is set for June 17th, 2020 at 8 p.m. Next, we have Resolution R-2128. This was tabled from the prior meeting. This is a resolution amending resolution number 20-81, approving 2020 events on various borough properties.
I will offer this. This is to start the farmer's market early. We have went through a bunch of guidelines from both Rutgers as well as neighboring towns, and Ms. Gonzalez put her final touches on it earlier today. So we now have a handbook from which to move forward with. So with that, I will offer it.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Council President Ryan. I'll now call the roll. Councilmember Braswell.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Yes.
Council President Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Valkos.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
So ordered. Next, we have Resolution R2136, a resolution authorizing the payment of bills.
I'll offer it.
I have an offer by the mayor.
I'll second.
I have a second by Councilmember Braswell. I now call the roll for vote. Councilmember Braswell.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Yes.
Council President Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Valkos.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
So ordered. Next, we have Resolution R2137, a resolution authorizing the execution of a shared services agreement between the Borough of Highlands and the Township of Freehold.
I'll offer it.
I'll second.
I have an offer by the mayor, a second by Councilmember Valkos. Now call the roll call vote. Councilmember Braswell.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Yes.
Council President Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Valkos.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
So ordered. Next, we have a resolution increasing the contract amount for special counsel with regard to litigation. This is an increase to pay the final bill on that.
Kim, can you explain this to the
Yeah.
public, please?
I would just like to clarify that this would be applied to our deductible, which for any case that has to do with the borough. And then it would also then be applied to the copay that would be due.
And
that's
this is because the matter has been accepted by the GIF for coverage, right?
Yes, I'm getting really bad feedback, so that's why I stopped talking.
I just want to add that this is because this is a final bill because the JIF has picked up this matter.
And I just want to make clear that the borough is required to pay a deductible.
And we're also required to have a copay for any matter that's picked up by the GIF. So we have a $20,000 deductible for any actions filed plus a copay, right, Brian? Right, Kim?
And that is pursuant to the insurance agreement and contract that we have with the GIF, correct?
That's correct. You have a deductible and a copay, but I would defer to the administrator to the precise numbers.
Those are the numbers, $20,000 and 20%.
That being said, do I have any further comment on this resolution? Do I have an offer?
I will offer it.
I have an offer by Mayor Brion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Council President Ryan. I'll now call a roll call vote. Councilmember Braswell, you are abstaining, I take it. Sir?
Yes.
Councilmember Braswell abstains. Councilmember Mazzola.
Yes.
Council President Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Valkos.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
So ordered. Next, we have Resolution R2139, a resolution authorizing an extension of temporary street closure, and I think Mr. Chabarak has some changes to this.
The now therefore be it resolved clause will now read that the mayor and council hereby approve the request for an extension of the closing of a portion of Washington Avenue and Marine to allow for work to be performed in accordance with the agreement of May 2017, effective immediately until June 17th, 2020, conditioned upon a street excavation permit being issued and the borough being satisfied with the DEP permitting issues, and that the bulkhead connection is completed first.
I will offer as amended.
I will second as amended.
I have an offer by the mayor as amended, a second by Councilmember Valkos as amended. Now call the roll. Councilmember Braswell.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Yes.
Council President Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Valkos.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
So ordered. Next, we have Resolution R2140, a resolution authorizing the award of a non-fair and open contract for a vision care plan through VSP Vision Care for borough employees.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Council President Ryan, a second by Councilmember Valkos. I now call the roll call. Councilmember Braswell.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Yes.
Council President Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Valkos.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution R2141, a resolution authorizing and providing for the issuance and sale of $6,100,003 bond anticipation notes of the Borough of Highlands in the County of Monmouth, New Jersey, to the Monmouth County Improvement Authority and determining various matters in connection therewith.
If there are any questions for this, Pat de Blasio is on the phone.
I was just about to ask Pat to, if he could sum it up for everyone.
Sure. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is not new money. This is existing bond anticipation notes, which are one-year notes. There's about 9 of them, and they roll over year to year. In April, sometime there, the municipalities are all experienced a very difficult time of borrowing funds. The municipal funds have dried up out there. No one really wanted to buy them. So this gave the town an option to go in with the county and do one big note sale. And it's kind of funny. So we spoke to the bonding attorney. Kim and I spoke to the bonding attorney yesterday, and we may now go it alone. So this is still an option that's on the table. So the deal is whatever we can get, the best rate is where we're going to be going. And this is one option of securing a good rate. So that's what this is about.
Thanks, Pat.
Anybody else have any comment? As such, do I have an offer?
I will offer.
I have an offer by the mayor.
I'll
I'll
second.
I'll
second.
second.
Okay, I'm going to go Council President Ryan on that one. That's the one I heard clearest. Councilmember Braswell.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Yes.
Council President Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Valkos.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
So ordered. Next, we have Resolution R2142. This is actually to pay the remainder of the Cleary Alfieri bill. We separated this out of the bill pay list. So accordingly, Resolution R2142, a resolution authorizing the payment of a bill for Cleary Alfieri and Jacobs.
I'll offer it.
I have an offer by the mayor.
I'll second.
I have a second by Council President Ryan. Councilmember Braswell, I assume you were abstaining, sir?
Abstain, yes.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Now, this was covered under the last resolution in essence, except this has been broken out for, why did we break this out?
I had a directive to break it out from finance, so it was broken out.
Kim?
The resolution itself approves the payment to the vendor. This is the actual payment to the vendor.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes.
I vote for yes, Councilmember Mazzola. Council President Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Valkos.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
So ordered. Next, we have Resolution R2143, a resolution increasing the bid threshold for contracts subject to public bidding under the local public contracts law.
I'll offer it.
I'll second.
I'm sorry, who offered?
The mayor.
Oh, sorry.
I have an offer by Mayor Brion, a second by Council President Ryan. I'll now call the roll. Councilmember Braswell.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Yes.
Council President Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Valkos.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
So ordered. Next, we have Resolution R2144, a resolution appointing special counsel.
I will offer that.
I'll
I have an
second.
offer by the mayor.
I'll second.
I'll second.
I have a second by Councilmember Mazzola. Now call the roll. Councilmember Braswell.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Yes.
Council President Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Valkos.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
So ordered. Next, we have Resolution R-2145, a resolution approving the creation and administration of an emergency temporary approval process for outdoor dining and/or business operations due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. I'll second.
I have a motion by Council President Ryan, a second by Councilmember Braswell.
Before calling the roll, Matt, if I can just, I see that there are a bunch of restaurants and retailers here on the call. I just briefly describe what's going to happen in this resolution. I think we're still fine tuning it, and it was not on the website ahead of the meeting. Pretty much a lot of things that were discussed between the business owners are in here. Things like a provision for street closures, tents, lighting, the ability for operations to either make an arrangement for the borough to host your seating. You can also, under this provision, go into a private contract with another property owner to use their property for your seating. So we were trying to be as out of the box thinking as we could to try to see what all of your needs are going to be, because I know every place is different in how they operate and how much actual physical property that they have. And we will work with all of the businesses in order to make this work for everybody. I guess we will have this on the website probably first thing in the morning once everyone gets back in.
It's actually up there now, Mayor.
Oh, it is there. Awesome. Awesome.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
everyone
It's
just
been up
goes
since
to the
Monday.
website and you go to government and then to resolutions. You could read all of it. We're still waiting for Governor Murphy's last bits, but I do have some news that the ABC has done their expansion license. It is going to be a one-time fee of $75, and they will have, they're hoping to have the paperwork to make the actual application very soon, because they want to have it up and running by the 5th, which is this Friday. So I suggest that anybody that wants to take advantage of this, as soon as that thing is up, go and make your application, and it will be good until November 3rd for outdoor seating and the expansion license. So with that, can you please call the roll, Matt?
Yes, ma'am. Councilmember Braswell, this is for your vote.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Yes.
Council President Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Valkos.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Happily, yes.
Okay, and just for the public, all of the resolutions and the ordinances are up. If you go to government, council agendas and minutes, and scroll down to where it says draft resolutions and ordinances, you can find the entire meeting packet for the meeting. It's been up since Friday.
I think Luke Bollerman also put it up on the chat. I caught that.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Thanks, Luke.
Next, we have Resolution R-2146, a resolution appointing a full-time laborer in the Department of Public Works.
I'll offer.
I'll second.
I have an offer by Councilmember Braswell, a second by Councilmember Valkos, and I'll now call the roll. Councilmember Braswell.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Yes.
Council President Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Valkos.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
So ordered. Next, we have Resolution R-2147, a resolution authorizing the Borough of Highlands tax collector to prepare and mail estimated tax bills in accordance with Public Law 1994, Chapter 72.
I'll make the motion.
Got a motion by Council President Ryan.
I'll second it.
I have a second by the mayor. Councilmember Braswell.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola.
Yes.
Council President Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Valkos.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
So ordered. And that takes care of resolutions. Next on the agenda, we have other business, street vacation for Cornwall Street. I'm going to mute myself now.
Right, let me set the stage before the applicants come forward. Borough Code 83.1 through 8.33 sets forth guidance for the preliminary hearing of a street vacation request. 8-3.1, the request must include an identification of the applicant's property and a depiction of the premises to be vacated, along with a list of all owners and adjacent property members. That has been satisfied, as there has been a joint request for a street vacation submitted at Cornwell Street by the two businesses. 8-3.3, if the governing body approves the request preliminarily, the applicants must post a refundable escrow deposit for the costs, which include the professional fees. That escrow deposit is $2,500. This is one joint application, so that would be split between the two applicants. That deposit includes all professional fees, publication costs, recording fees, certified mailing fees. Any unused escrow balance gets refunded to the applicants. Any costs which are going to exceed that amount is billable to the applicants with prior notice. As I indicated, the applicants have sufficiently identified the area in question. The only issue is that there were two different lengths set forth of this street vacation. One measured 45 feet from the water and another measured 35 feet from the water. So perhaps the applicants can set a landmark so that there's a precise measurement that can be clarified by the engineer. If any street vacation is approved, a report and recommendation will be prepared by the municipal engineer as well as necessary borough officials. The next step would be to introduce an ordinance which would accept from the street vacation all rights and privileges possessed by the public utilities and by any cable television companies to maintain, repair, replace any existing facilities. So with respect to the preliminary approvals, if that is granted, that then triggers the escrow payment and the investigation that's done primarily by the municipal engineer in conjunction with other municipal officials. Then if it's recommended to go forward, an ordinance would be introduced, and if it's then adopted, it gets recorded with the county. So with that being said, the applicants can come forward and explain to the governing body what their request entails, and if they could provide any specific information as to the difference between the footage that was set forth, and perhaps a landmark just make it easier. The ordinance will eventually spell out a very specific description of the area to be vacated.
Jack, see you're on the call. I'm not sure if Doug is. Do you have any
Hello,
comments?
I'm not sure if Doug's on the call. I know I am.
I'm here, Jack.
I think
Oh,
I
here,
believe
here.
him on the HBP members.
Yes. Yes, I'm here. Douglas Lenz from the Inlet Cafe, requesting this vacation of the end of Cornwall Street. The discrepancy in the distance is just a basic mistake, I believe, miscommunication. We'll have to sit with the engineer or whomever and figure out what the number is, or what number you're willing to give us, basically.
Yeah.
And so within 5 feet, so I think we're pretty close anyhow. It's just an extension of our existing premises, and for use of customers that already stand there, we're just trying to make it so that the legality part of it will be straightforward and not skirting the law in any way going forward. Jack, do you want to add anything?
Pretty much the same thing, just to make it more comfortable for our customers who are already kind of hanging in that area, make sure they can, be there legally, and then, we're covering all bases.
Correct. I agree.
Great. Doug, can you do us a favor and just reach out to Kim Gonzalez at some point tomorrow just to get some paperwork together?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think what we really need from them to begin everything is an indemnification agreement. Am I correct, Mr. Chabarek? In order.
They can work that out offline without
Mhm.
chatting about everything right here.
Sure.
Okay.
Whatever
Thank you.
paperwork
Appreciate
necessary and funds, I'm sure me and Jack can provide.
Yep, absolutely.
And I would just like to say that I support this wholeheartedly, and I, support trying to, help these guys out, especially now. So I think it's a good application.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Doug, do you have an engineering report?
I do not have anything. It's only been conversations
Oh.
so far.
Sorry, too many Dougs on the call.
Oh.
I meant Doug Romeyer from CME.
Yes, I do. I'll get started. North Street Pump Station, we anticipate the,
Doug, not to cut you off, but Matt just has to take roll call if they approve the street vacation preliminarily, so that the applicants would be required to post an escrow, and that would start the investigation. Sorry, but I don't want to get out of order here. So Matt, if you could just take a roll.
Sure. This is for approval, as Mr. Shabarek stated. Brian, do I have to have an introduction in a second?
No, it's preliminary. It's only preliminary approval of the street vacation, so it just starts the process.
Thank you. Councilmember Braswell.
Yes.
Councilmember Braswell votes aye. Councilmember Mazzola.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola votes aye. Councilmember Valkos.
Yes.
Councilmember Valkos votes aye. Council President Ryan.
Yes.
Council President Ryan votes aye. Mayor Brion.
Yes.
All are in favor.
Thank you, everyone.
Great. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Mr. Romar, you can continue.
very good, thank you. Over at North Street Pump Station, the replacement pump is anticipated to be delivered by the end of the month. As you recall, we have a rental pump in place at this point. Once that pump is installed with new controls, we'll look at the electrical for upgrades to meet current flood elevations, and we'll move towards the bulkhead and check valve improvements as well. Cedar Street, Jones Creek bulkheads. Now that funding has been confirmed to be in place, we'll set up the public bid of that work immediately. We'll put that out for a little longer than the minimum 10 days because of the current situation. Some of the vendors are getting a little hung up on providing materials and providing quotes. So I want to give a little more time than typical to allow all the bidders to really sharpen the pencils. The Bay Ave Waterworks Sanitary Project is moving along nicely. Our funding application has been submitted. That includes a letter of interest, the very large environmental planning document, and the capacity study that was previously done along the Bay Ave trunk line. Our surveyors have completed the field locations and as-built of all the sanitary main within the project limits. And at this point, we're advancing the base maps and the base map drawings that'll facilitate permit plans, construction plans, and allow us to set up our initial meeting with Monmouth County to talk about the details of roadway restoration within Bay Ave, which is their right of way. The municipal parking lot, 171 Bay, we're going to proceed immediately with the initial phase to get it open for pedestrian access. That was discussed earlier in the workshop. Improvements to Mountain Street, survey is complete, base mapping is complete, plans are complete. We're ready now to look if we're going to engage, how we're going to engage with the contractor, whether it be a traditional open public bid, or if we look to do a shared service possibly with the county to implement the improvements on Mountain Street. Locust Street, that if you recall, that's DOT, partially DOT funded. Survey is done, base map is done. Plans will be going to the DOT for review and authorization and go out to bid shortly. As soon as I obtain DOT approval, we'll seek Borough's approval to advertise that project as well. There's 2 grant applications we're currently going after, and I'd like to turn that over to Mr. Pavlik from our office, who's working on those applications, if that's okay.
There's 2 applications that 2 funding sources that we'd like to go for. First is through the Department of Transportation, the municipal aid program. Fiscal year 2021, we want to apply for King and Matthews Street. That application is just about ready to send. That would just be reconstructing and various curb, concrete, sanitary, and storm improvements. The other grant application is through CDBG, administered by the county. Those are due July 24th. The project we discussed was improving the Marine Place walkway. We want to look into doing some kind of elevated walk on the north side of Marine Place.
Just a quick question. I heard somewhere, and I apologize if I'm out of order. I heard that you guys were discussing doing maybe sanitary and sewer improvements on Locust Street. Do you have timing on that? Did I miss that? I apologize if I didn't
If
quite.
you can wait to the public portion and let the professionals finish their reports, you can bring that up in public portion. Thank you.
My apologies.
And that basically concludes the engineering report, unless Mayor and Council have any questions.
Thanks, guys.
Not. Kim, do you have a report for us?
I can go ahead and chat a little bit. It's not a formal report. I just wanted to thank everyone, the residents, the public, the mayor and council. We are on modified schedule still at the borough. We are closed to the public still. Please note that you can reach me by email. It's probably the easiest way. We are trying to build back our staff coming back to as many hours as possible in the office, but we are getting all the tasks done as quickly as possible. We are in a closed area. We don't have a lot of space to work with, so we just want to make sure that everyone is safe. I want to thank Doug. We're pushing a lot of projects on him right now. Thank you, Drew, as well. Thanks, Mayor and Council, for letting us do these projects. For the CDBG application, I have to say that I'm excited. I think that building towards the beautification and the assets for the borough, I look forward to something that the public and everyone can really enjoy. It's quite exciting. Answering Luke's question, Luke Bowerman, Locust Street is getting ready to go out for bid. So it's going to be, it's going to depend, the timeline is going to depend on the response for the bid results, right? So we're hoping that we can get it done, I would probably say 3 or 4 months down the road. We definitely will keep you informed. We'll pass out notices. We will definitely make sure that the contractor, when it's awarded, the notice is given to everyone in the area, and we will post it on the borough website. I'll send you a text message and let you know as well. Then for summer camp, I just want to let everyone know that we will not be holding a summer camp in person for the month of July for certain. Right now, things are just too uncertain, and it's not clear enough to where the numbers are going to be with the pandemic. We have a wonderful program that we do have ready to put out virtually. August, it's just unclear at this time. I feel as though it's too soon to really say right now what we're going to do for August. Beach is open June 15th with lifeguards. I do want to make sure everyone is aware of that. That we will begin having lifeguards on duty. We had to take the boards off of the bridge over at Jones Creek. We were trying to cut the amount of traffic going through the area. Mayor had to make the decision over the weekend for health and safety issues that people were climbing over the boards. I just ask that if the public would please respect all the items and all the restraints that we are trying to put out for the public for their safety. It just makes it easier for everyone in the end. We know this is a tough time, and we are trying to work with everyone. I didn't get to really say anything during the last meeting. Thank you for everyone who participated in the virtual Park Fest. It was an interesting and good event. Any proceeds that Heartstrings Music received, it will offer music lessons at no cost to residents of Highlands. Right now it would be children. We're unsure, if we're going to open it up to adults as well. So if you want to write a song, sing a song, or play the guitar. We do have a lot of projects going on. Please email me anytime that you see anything going on or have any questions. I have to say, I do get a lot of emails recently since the pandemic, so don't be alarmed if I don't get back to you like usual. Usually I answer within a half hour. It might take me a day to get back to you, but if it's urgent, I always will respond immediately. I think that's it for tonight.
Thanks, Kim.
Does anyone else have any other thing that they would like to say before we open it up to the public? Okay, that said, let's open it up to the public.
Hi, Kim Skorka, 315 Shore Drive. I have a question. If we're not doing summer camp, what are we doing about the summer food program? That seemed to be a very important part of the camp experience.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we are getting a program ready for summer food.
Okay. In the last meeting, Borough Hall was touched upon. I just want to let you know that I support everything the police department needs, and the ground floor, all their requirements are fine by me. I'd like to see the top redesigned somehow. We're on the water. Green infrastructure should be really important. I don't see how a glass wall is, I don't want to say sustainable, but I don't think it's very energy efficient. The roof is not designed in a manner for future solar panels or a Tesla roof or a green roof or beehives or anything of that manner. It basically cuts off all potential uses. And I don't think a cathedral ceiling inside is very energy efficient. So hopefully the borough and the council will look at those designs. I appreciate the information on the $75 liquor license. I hadn't heard that until now. That's good news. But I'm curious as to how it's going to be handled for BYO restaurants. For example, and I hate to point out any one particular restaurant, but Porcini, if they're going to use the parking lot across the street, they're a BYO. Are we allowed to bring? Are we not allowed to bring?
Kim, I hate to cut you off, but before you go forward, the ABC only came out with the guidelines this afternoon, right before the meeting. So we have to look into it, but we'll make sure we abide by all the requirements.
Okay, great, thanks.
And also, just to chime in, the governor's executive order 150 was just released maybe 5 minutes ago. So we haven't even laid eyes on it because we've been meeting.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
I do want to say that I'm disappointed that you're going to pave 171 Bay Avenue. It seems like there's only a couple of us in town who want permeable pavement and more green infrastructure. Just curious if, and it's probably part of the discussion, who's going to provide not just tables and chairs, but umbrellas and canopies, because that parking lot's going to get hot this summer. Yes.
Okay. Kim, it's Kim. Yeah, so this is something that was just recently brought up. I had a meeting with a senator and freeholder, and we are in the process of ironing out some of those details. We're actually looking at them setting up a program that the borough would do it with some funds that are available from the pandemic. We have to remember that this is something that we would not have done if there wasn't a pandemic at this time. So we're going to look at everything that would be the best benefit for the borough and for the businesses. It's going to be a discussion and a sit down and probably a couple of meetings and looking at some numbers, but yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And
Go ahead.
if I could just add briefly, there's still going to be some green spaces associated with the parking lot. It's a balance of maximizing available parking and addressing the stormwater. So there could be some perforated piping associated with to recharge some of the water. There's going to be some green space up front where it abuts the Bay Ave and maintain some along the rear as well, ultimately maintaining the amount of impervious or reducing it if we can.
Okay, thank you. I'm just concerned about that much more runoff coming onto Bay Avenue and exacerbating flooding, especially during heavy rain events. But that's fine. I have a question about the signs on 36 at Miller Street and at Linden Avenue. and the advertising and how people can get advertising up onto those signs. Bueller? Bueller?
I don't have the answer to that.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm not exactly sure about the signs at Linden because they're wooden signs that seem to be updated pretty regularly. Are you talking about the electronic signs?
No, I'm asking about the permanent signs. Like, I know at Linden Ave it's wood, but the signage gets switched out for various borough events and upcoming, you know, farmers market, shop local. Just curious how somebody can get advertising up there. Is the borough bidding this out? Is there a protocol? What's the fee for it?
Talking about the billboard.
Yes.
Okay, first of all,
that would help the city understand.
Laura, there's no crosstalk. It's questions have to be directed to the council and the professionals. So to answer Kim's question, that that sign and the sign on Miller Street was purchased by well, actually it is owned by the HPP. The council, Ms. Gonzalez, works with HPP about getting different things up there for borough events. And the business partnership puts their signage up there for their events.
I'm not sure about that. Kim, can you clarify Miller Street, the Miller Street signs?
Yes, if you're coming over the bridge and into Highlands, at the traffic light on the right-hand side, there's a sign and it's got Frank Rom Landscaping, I believe is the most recent one. And I'm curious, if the HBP owns the sign at Linden, why is the DPW mulching and taking care of it?
That property is actually owned by Shadow Lawn.
So Kim Gonzalez.
So back to my question, if Shadow Lawn owns it, why is our DPW there mulching and taking care of it? And how do I get signs up there?
Like I said, the HBP owns that sign. They were instructed by prior mayors and councils to make a nice sign for when they entered, when people entered into our borough on Linden Ave.
So I can anticipate a bill going to the HBP for the mulch and the DPW time of at least 3 to 4 guys that I saw out there yesterday or the day before, taking care of HBP Shadow Lawn property that the HBP has control of.
No. The owner of Shadow Lawn was asked by prior mayor and council if the business partnership could put a sign there to advertise events going on in the borough. This is many years ago. I want to say it was, well, there was a sign there before, but I want to say this sign is about 16 years old, to the best of my recollection. And this was a private property owner working with the borough, working with the business organization to have a mutually beneficial result.
So if I have a business and I want to put advertising there, what's the process?
Call the HPP.
Okay, so the borough is maintaining property that doesn't belong to them, that they don't control the signage of, free of charge to Shadow Lawn and the business partnership.
No, that's not what I said. I said that Ms. Gonzalez works with HBP when she wants signs up there, and they get made and they go on there. Just like the Irish eat, drink, what was it? It was like Eat and Be Irish, the event down at the community center. There was that sign was at that bulkhead sign.
They give us one sign area for our events.
So is the borough looking to get your own signage? Because the business partnership is very exclusive, and actually they're very hostile to people that they're not friends with. So if I have a business and I want to get a sign up there, basically what I'm being told is I'm not going to be able to.
No one ever told you that.
If I can interrupt for 1 second. I remember us having a discussion about signage, but this is on Miller Street. And Kim Gonzalez, too many Kims in the Zoom call right now. Does the borough own that signage, Miller and 36?
That is borough property on Miller and 36. The sign itself pre-exists my employment. I do not have anything to do with the signage. It's probably something that we need to take a look at in the future, because probably would be considered a concession.
Thank you.
Okay,
Can I explain some of this? I might be able to help a little bit.
Ken, we really need to move on. If you would like to send an email to Ms. Skorka explaining, that would be great. And please copy Ms. Gonzalez on it.
Okay, I just have two quick things about the borough website. If someone can take a look at the page where the agenda and resolution are posted, there's a heading for 2019, but 2020 stuff is underneath it. And just curious how long it's going to take past minutes to start being approved and posted. Thank you.
To 2019, 2020, that's just a joke. We did that on purpose just to see if you were paying attention. No, I'm kidding. I will go ahead. I will make sure that we fix that. Just so you know, I recently did contract with somebody living in town who's on the communications committee who does website work to redo the website to make it more user-friendly, update it, get it going. So it's in the process. Right now, it's not as easy to navigate as what we would like for the user or for the operator. Thanks. The second portion, Mayor.
It's my turn yet? Okay, it's Carol Bucko, 330 Shore Drive. I want to address a couple of things. Number one, this resolution 2138. You are upping the amount. You started at $5,000. You upped it to $12,500. Then you upped it to $17,500. Now, then you upped it to $18,000. Now you're upping it to $22,500. That pays for the entire bid deductible that you mentioned, because the bid deductible is $20,000, right? So what are we doing with the other $2,500?
Kim, she means JIF.
Oh, okay. Yes, the JIF deductible is $20,000,
Right.
and then for all the other bills that we will receive, if there are any other invoices to the account, there is a copay of 20%.
Well, now, it's my understanding that this was a private matter. I have asked at the council meeting, and I have asked several times, but again, of course, we haven't had any council meetings since then, whether this was something that a council person did as a representative of the town. If it wasn't done as a representative of the town, then it's a private matter, and I don't understand why JIF is covering it unless you're lying about it. I'm not accusing you, by the way. There's also a copay, and then we're gonna pay the copay. So what good is it? We've used up all the JIF money practically, but with the $20,000 deductible. And I just don't understand. Nobody will tell us what it's about. If it's such a major problem, I don't understand why the people of Highlands can't know what's going on with their money. You just keep upping it every month. Every month you up it. And I don't think it's fair to the people if it's a private matter. I'm not sure it's a private matter, but nobody will tell us what it's about. So, I mean, council people, if they do things to benefit the town or, and they get into something with somebody, then that's not a private matter. That's, they're representing the town. They're saying this, that, and the other thing, whatever. But if this is not that, why do we keep paying for it? And nobody will tell us what it's about.
Carol?
You know, if it's a public matter, it's got to be a public matter for JIF to pay and for us to pay.
Carol?
Yes.
What I can address, I can't discuss the essence of the legal action, but what I can explain to you is my understanding after this evening is that the JIF is taking over the defense of this matter. The borough has a contract with the JIF, an insurance contract, just like any other.
I'm familiar with the JIF.
Okay, so under that contract, when this type of situation arises and now they're taking on the defense, our policy states that we have a $20,000 deductible. Plus,
yeah, well, that's my point. Why didn't the JIF take it over first? And then we'd be stuck with $20,000 deductible instead of $5,000, $12,500, $17,500, $18,000, and now $22,500.
Ms. Bucko, you're asking a question of the council that was a decision made by the insurance carrier, the JIF. So the JIF has picked up the defense of this case. So at this point, the JIF is taking it on from here on out. There is the deductible, there is a copay. I don't know, the administrator can explain the copay in more detail to you, but that would be for any matter that's filed against the borough or a representative.
Well,
as far as your request about, the type of matter, lawsuits and complaints are public record. You can certainly access it through, that means.
Oh, where can I access it?
You can contact the court.
Terrific. More work for the borough while you spend our money. Okay. Why are we waiting till August to open the summer camp? I understand that the governor has already said that summer camps can be opened. And we're going to wait till August to open the summer camp. First of all, we'll have difficulty finding any employees because all the people that work there count on their summer jobs, and they've already probably established that. And I just don't understand why, especially you, Carolyn, you were such a proponent of the summer camp last year, or maybe the year before. And now all you care about is the farmer's market, for God's sake. I appreciate the farmer's market, but I don't use it. But nevertheless, there are maybe 10 or 15 people in town that use it. And I see no reason for opening it early and delaying the opening of the summer camp. Because
we are being cautious, Carol, because we are very, very focused on 100% safety of our residents. As you know, children.
You don't think the governor is?
Hard to socially distance children, especially in a camp setting during the summertime. We are being cautious for now to see how it goes. And then if everything remains as low and people are remaining to do well and we get closer to coming on the other side of this virus, we have to take the utmost caution, especially with the children.
Don't you think the government is being responsible? The governor, every day he's on the TV. And I think they're going to open the summer camps on the 15th of July. Why are we delaying it a half a month?
We're being more cautious.
Oh, yeah. Well, what about the farmer's market? Is that not the same thing? It's outdoors. And are you going to stand there and count the number of feet that the people are apart? Come on. Don't be ridiculous.
There's also the cost of sanitizing the building every day, which could become exorbitant if we had camp.
Well, that's why we charge now. We need to pay for that.
We would have to charge nearly double, and I'm not doubling the fee. There's no way.
Whatever. All right, now Resolution 2145, which I only got at the very last moment. And in one part of it, it says that you're going to let them open things in the street. You're going to take up parking and sections of the street for restaurants to open and have outdoor dining. I mean, I can understand, you know, like Francesca's, they have a place already. But I mean, a lot of the other businesses on Bay Avenue, they don't have much sidewalk. And if they can't arrange to open it with somebody else, you're going to let them open it in the middle of the street? Well, not in the middle, but I hope not in the middle. Jeez.
It's something that we're discussing. We're trying to make sure that every business in this town stays open.
Well,
and
don't you think
are
you should
able
discuss?
to conduct business and
Sorry.
feed their families.
Don't you think you should discuss the resolutions before you approve them?
We did.
Oh, okay. But they wasn't up the same. It
And
wasn't
we're
up
also-
until. It wasn't up until just before the meeting. Okay, one last question. I see some of you were wearing shirts. Did you pay for the shirts or did the borough pay for the shirts? You want to wear your mayor shirt all over town? Cody, you want to wear your councilperson shirt all over town? That's fine. But who paid for the shirts?
It was a borough other expense item.
Oh, swell.
Mhm.
I thought you were talking about this evening. So I was a
No,
little
maybe
shocked at
see
that
them
question
mayor
going on for a
shirt,
second.
councilperson shirt. I mean, is that necessary? Come on, guys. Please. This town is so expensive as it is. I'm finished, thank you.
Claudette Dorigo, 12 Seadrift Avenue. I have a couple of questions. The first one is concerning liability, a liability issue, which I'm sure has to be then deferred to Brian. But as you know, Highlands has been involved in numerous lawsuits recently, some still ongoing, with everything from employees in a condemned building getting hurt to a young man struck on a sidewalk by a fireman rushing to a fire. My question to you is, if someone walks from parking their car in an area where they're allowed to park into the closed area of 171 Bay, and they trip and land on the closed area and sidewalk, whose liability insurance is going to cover this? Ours or the county's, since it's part county road and part our property?
The answer is it depends on where the exact specific location of the fall is. A lot of times when claims are filed, they will name the state, the county, the municipality, and let it sort itself out. But you do have coverage. You also have Title 59 immunities for slip and falls, whereas a plaintiff has to demonstrate notice of a dangerous condition and the actions or inactions will be unreasonable. But in answer to your question, it depends on the exact location of the fall.
Okay. And thank you. I just have a concern because it just seems like we're getting into more and more litigation recently with private citizens, and it just seems to be escalating, not de-escalating. And of course, that's always, transferred to the taxpayers of the town. 20% is going to come back to us of whatever it is for the lawsuit that you were just mentioning before. So, it just it's an ongoing situation and it is a concern. My next question refers to what Kim was talking about before, Skorka, the sign. So if another 501c3 in the town, such as the Highlands Arts Council, wishes to put something up on the sign, they're going to have to pay to put up on the signs that come into town for an event that they want to hold, even though the sign is on borough property, and I'm assuming the sign is not paying for rent to be on the borough property.
No, wait, one thing at a time. Number one, it's not on borough property. And number two, it's on private property. And number two, the First Aid, the Tri-District Association, Henry Hudson, all of those organizations have put up signs at no charge to those organizations. when they
I
want.
believe Kim Gonzalez said before that one of the signs was on borough property. Am I incorrect in that?
That, not the bulkhead sign, the sign that says "Welcome to Highlands" on the corner of 36 and Miller at the very
Okay.
top.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Since that sign, and maybe I'm mistaken, but I believe you said that sign was owned by the HBP, which is a 501c3. It is
Correct.
on our borough property. I'm assuming that they're not paying rent to be on the borough property. I don't know, maybe they are. I'm just assuming they're not. So if another 501c3 from the town, like the Arts Council, wants to put up an advertisement onto the borough property on that sign, will they have to pay to do that?
I can only tell you what's been done in the past, and that, as I said, again, First Aid, the Tri-District Education Foundation, and Henry Hudson Regional School have all had signs put on either the bulkhead or the Miller Street sign at no charge to the organization.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
My third question is, when are you going to resume meetings in the community center, since everything seems to be opening up, and in general, we don't have big crowds that come to our council meetings, so sitting 6 feet apart, excluding when there's some kind of accommodation for the police or fire department, or there's a promotion, but generally speaking, the council meetings seem to be fairly sparse, and it seems like you could actually have a meeting that we could actually come to. Do you have any idea when you're going to resume those meetings?
I really don't, because we are at the mercy of the governor's executive orders. Currently, it is only 10 people inside. So once you take the council, the professionals, the clerk, the administrator, legal, and engineering, you've got 10 people.
I thought he had upped that to 25, but maybe I'm incorrect.
25 outdoors.
And Ms. Diorigo, Executive Order number 107 has still not been rescinded. I know that we're waiting for guidance on that, and the other towns we represent are still doing their meetings the same way in this matter. But I presume June 15th, he's going to have some more guidance based upon what we're hearing. So.
Okay, and one last question. This one's directed to Carolyn again. You talk about transparency, you talk a good game on that. When are you going to get a council phone number or a number that members of the public can Oprah for your records? You are the only council member that does not have a phone that is Oprahable. And you ran on a platform of transparency.
I already have 3 phones, and I refuse to have 4.
But you don't need to have a phone. You could have a phone number that the council or the town assigns to you that could be forwarded to one of your 3 phones that you conduct government business on. You are conducting government business on a private phone. And that's just, didn't we learn from Hillary Clinton that you shouldn't be doing that? So I'm asking you, you can have the town assign you a phone number, and that can be forwarded to any one of your 3 phones. But that phone number you conduct government business on. And every council member should have a council phone number. And you know that because you went to the same meetings that I went to at the League of Municipalities. So I'm asking you, when are you going to be transparent so the members of the public have access to where you and how you're conducting business?
I am not going to get another phone or another phone number. It is not deemed that you must have a borough number or a borough phone. And that was upheld in the New Jersey State Supreme Court.
I'm not saying it's deemed. I'm saying you ran on a platform of transparency and honesty, and you are not being transparent. The members of public cannot Oprah your phone number and get documentation of where you're conducting government business because you continue to have a private phone number. You don't have to get another phone. Get a council or deem one of your numbers, make it operable. Give it to the town to be operable. You are conducting government business behind closed doors, and no one has access to your records. And that is unfair to the public.
I disagree with you, and I am operating within the law.
Why are you disagreeing? Why don't you want to be transparent? Why do you not want anybody to open your phones? As you know, I've tried to. And you refuse to release anything that any business that you're conducting on your phone with any entity, anything you're conducting for this town is being hidden from the public.
I promise you, Claudette, I'm not calling Russia.
Doesn't matter. I don't care where you're calling. There are issues that this town, the people in this town that concern taxpayers, and they want to know. I'm not the only person, Carolyn.
Some of us have questions besides that.
We need to move on.
Okay.
Chris, would you like to go I'll hand you the football.
Say again, please.
I said, I'm handing you the football.
Appreciate it. One quick, make sure I understand, resolution about the Washington Street. It was conditioned upon several things. Does that mean they don't work until they meet those conditions? Is there a stop work order in effect until they meet those conditions?
That's my understanding, and I believe they have a street excavation permit which is pending. They also have to satisfy some permitting issues with the DEP, and I think Doug, the engineer, can probably weigh in a little bit more in detail.
I mean, just for example, they were working today. So I know they haven't met the conditions. You know, I don't want to keep harping on it, but at this point, he's just running through any roadblock you set up. And he'll pay whatever fine, et cetera, et cetera.
Chris, he was stopped today.
Okay.
He was stopped today. He cannot work until he gets his road opening permit from the borough.
Okay.
And the other things that we put on there, and Doug can speak to them now.
Sure thing. Road opening, street excavation permit was determined to be in need based on a site survey that was completed by the developer's surveyor. The application was submitted. We did our review. We identified all the accompanying documentation and bonding requirements associated with the street excavation permit. That's in the works right now. Hopefully everything is submitted tomorrow. There was some correspondence with DEP to make sure that the borough is not idly standing by during unauthorized work. And it's open public record at this point. There was an emergency permit authorization issued today for the work that's taking place. So things are moving forward in terms of housekeeping items.
Okay, thank you.
I just would like to say that we are on top of the issue, even though we might not be able to do something at the moment always. Our professionals take this at the public safety and health issues for the borough extremely seriously, and we are working our best to make sure everything is done correctly.
And then just the last question, is he allowed to restore the cafe under your current understanding of permitted work?
My response to that would be, I am not aware of any permits submitted to the local building department for the construction of that structure. I'm not aware of any plan to build that.
And DEP wouldn't issue a permit without involving you?
That's not accurate. DEP DEP functions under their regs. So if a permit's required to reconstruct a building, then you'd be responsible to obtain that permit, of course.
Okay. it is what it is at this point.
Well,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Francie, one of the conditions was that the bulkhead connections be completed first too. So that was a condition that was put in place today.
Yes,
So
I saw that.
That's primary for them. Okay.
Thank you. I think Zoom is working very well. The audio is much better.
Good.
Very good. This is Luke Bowlerman from 1 Willow Street, Sandy Hook Bay Marina, and Traumas at 1 Willow, the corresponding restaurant. I just wanted to take a moment and apologize for speaking out of turn earlier. I'm sort of new to the Zoom process. I didn't quite understand. And I was further distracted by Doug's wonderful background of the longboard and all the fishing rods in the background. I think he certainly has the best background, certainly applicable to what we've got going on in the Highlands. But beyond that, I just wanted to take a moment and thank every person here, whether it's the borough attorneys or the borough engineers, the administrators, council, and of course the mayor, for all the leadership that you guys have provided the town. As a business owner in town who has been really hit hard along with a lot of other business owners, we are incredibly appreciative of the attention and flexibility and open-mindedness you guys have paid to the business community. We've been in Highlands a long time. Even before we purchased Sandy Hook Bay Marina, I used to bus tables at Doris and Ed's. And you know, the restaurant scene in Highlands is fundamental to the lifeblood of the town. And of course, we're highly concerned that some of these entities may or may not survive. So I just wanted to just take a quick moment and just thank everybody for their attention, to all the businesses. It is highly important. We are in a very difficult position. And I just wanted to just take a moment and thank everybody. So thank you.
Thank you for trying. It's a lot.
Thank you, Luke.
I just want to say that the businesses are part of the reason that Highlands is a destination. So thank you for investing in the town, because you're part of what attracts people to come here.
Are there any other questions from the public? Seeing none, I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Do I have a
second.
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Valkos. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So ordered. We are adjourned at 9:20 p.m.
Thanks, everyone.